You're live, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I want to call this Greenville County Council meeting to order. And we will get started with the invocation. I'll ask Councilor Long if she would give us that.
Let us pray. Father, thank you for this day, Lord, and thank you for all the many people that's coming out tonight to do your work, Father. Just like in the book of Esther, Lord, you say, for such a time as this, the people will stand, Father, and if we don't stand, who will? Please be with each one of us tonight as we do your business. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Councilor Long. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Next on the agenda, we have approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes from our February 4th meeting.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have proclamations and special recognitions, and I would like to ask if anyone or all of the members from United Ministries would join me down at the podium for just a second. I'll be right over there a second. All right, this proclamation is for United Ministries for their 55th anniversary. Whereas in June of 1970, Greenville Urban Ministries was established by the South Carolina Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church as a direct response to the closure of several area mills which left many community members in need of supportive services. And whereas over its 50-plus year history, United Ministries has remained committed to best serving the unmet needs of those in the Greenville community. And whereas United Ministries' mission is to be a direct service organization that serves individuals and families experiencing scarcity by providing basic needs for stability and supportive services to achieve self-sufficiency. And whereas the vision of United Ministries is a Greenville community working together to ensure that everyone has access to the resources and opportunities to thrive in our community, with its primary focus areas being housing stability, economic mobility, and homeless services. And whereas the offerings of the organization include emergency rent, utility, food, and life-saving prescription medication assistance for Greenville County residents in crisis, a low-barrier day shelter for adults experiencing chronic homelessness in order to have their hygiene needs met, an evidence-based economic mobility coaching program providing life-changing opportunities to achieve financial and psychological self-sufficiency, and a housing program that supports families with children under the age of 18 who are experiencing homelessness. And whereas in addition to those services, United Ministries offers a variety of unique tools to address scarcity and to improve economic mobility outcomes, including free, unlimited access to an on-staff mental health counselor, 2 match-saving programs, and access to a low-interest loan program. Now, therefore, Greenville County Council does hereby recognize the continued efforts of United Ministries, who has served as an invaluable community resource to over 3,000 community members annually, and thanks them for their contribution to the residents of Greenville County over the past 15 years. Signed this 18th day of February 2025. If you would join me in a round of applause to an amazing organization. Thank you very much. All right, our next agenda item tonight is appearances on current agenda items. And we have two people speaking. First is going to be Ms. Audrey Pazin, and the topic is approval of county rules.
Good evening, Audrey Passon, 1360 Altamont Ridge Road, Harris, Maryland. I watched with great interest as you worked on the rules. You worked really hard. I was really happy to see it. And I will say that rules are made to be broken. But I hope you won't break them. I'm going to tell you about three of the rules that I think you can take another look at. The first one is your Amendment 2. It's a restriction on asking for information from county employees. I say, why restrict yourselves? You can ask for things. You don't need the chair's approval. You don't all need to vote on it. It's absolutely kosher, my favorite word, under the Home Rule Act. What you've done here is put some boundaries on yourself that you shouldn't have, and I suggest you remove them. That was one. Second point on Amendment 2, it's a little ambiguous. You mentioned 3 employees that are council employees, and then you say, all employees, we have to go through Mr. Cornell. Well, the 3 that you hire, that you employ, particularly county attorney, you should not have to go through Mr. Cornell to talk to him. If that is the plan, change it. And you should make the language less ambiguous in any event. So I suggest you go back to that one. Another one I would suggest you look at is Amendment 10. Again, that's a hamstringing one where you need to have a restriction on asking for information. The phrasing is this: you need the approval, first of all, of everybody or the chair, and if it's more than a de minimis amount of time or money, you're not allowed to ask for anything. You know, what does de minimis mean? I think you should free yourself of that. If what you're asking for is a problem, they'll tell you. Well, I'm sure. Everybody tells you when it's a problem. Okay, number 14. This one is particularly relevant and problematic. You do know that I have brought a lawsuit to invalidate the UDO, to declare it is unlawfully enacted. I hope you know that, and also to enjoin its application. If you don't know that, ask Mr. Antley to share the pleading with you, but I will send a better pleading in a week. I'm amending it. I say that because there's an ambiguity in your Amendment 14, which you should fix now. And the ambiguity is on the 2/3 vote when the Planning Commission or the P&D Committee hasn't approved something. The language should be added. It should say, if there's no recommendation or a contrary recommendation. Right now, it has to be contrary. So what if they don't make any recommendation? You should still have a 2/3 vote. That is going to be a curiosity in this case, so stay posted. Thank you for letting me bring this to your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Pazin. I saw you watching that clock, too. Next up, we have Ms. Diane Vreeland, and the topic is also approval of county rules.
Diane Vreeland on behalf of Greenville County Republican Women, 413 Heather Falls Lane, Simpsonville. In going through the proposed rules, I've come up with some suggestions and questions to be considered. 1, Section 3, meetings of the council, A, meetings. Last sentence, if a member is participating remotely, then that member shall be able to be seen and heard at the discretion of the chairman. My question is, can the chairman prohibit a council member from being seen or heard and/or heard? I think the language is ambiguous and it needs to be clarified. My second one, Section 3, meetings of the council, D, requests to be heard. There's a typo. Consideration of all items. It should be items that's plural instead of item. My question is, will there be a separate registration sign-up sheet to speak on any topic at the conclusion of the meeting? I think there will be less confusion if you have 2 sign-up sheets. Number 3, Section 4, ordinances, resolutions, and other matters, readings. I propose that the public be allowed to speak at all 3 readings, especially the first reading. I feel it would be beneficial to the council members if they are aware of the public sentiment as early as possible, as it might spur further discussion among council members when making important decisions. Allowing for early public input bolsters more transparency between the public and council. And I'm going to add something that I'm not going to give to the clerk only because it happened tonight. I don't mind that you moved up the sign up from 5:15 to 5:45, but there's no access. If I'm in the committee of the whole, I have to leave and hear what I'm interested in, what you're saying there, to come and sign up all the way at the front of the building here. Solutions may be putting a sign up back there so it's quick and easy. And also, can we sign up online? I mean, it needs to be more citizen friendly. All right, I would appreciate your thoughts and comments on the issues I have raised, and I want to hand a copy of my statement to the clerk so it's part of the public record, and I thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Vreeland. And next, we have public hearings. We'll give this over to Councilor Collins.
Item 7B, Project Red Fox, Multi-County Industrial and Business Park, 2010 Park. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial business park, 2010 Park, of Anderson County and Greenville counties so as to enlarge the park to add certain parcels in Anderson County. Madam Clerk, has anyone signed up for this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Collins, we have one speaker, Audrey Pazin, in opposition.
Ms. Pazin.
Same address, Audrey Passon. I hope you know I come here to be helpful.
Time's already up. Just kidding.
Okay. My husband says I'm the noisy one. Okay, okay. Listen, here's the thing. This is an ordinance that goes back to 2010. I tried to look at it to see what was this originally. It looks like there were already 10 or 11 amendments to what was originally enacted in 2010. By the way, the date is wrong on here. It was in November 2010. In any event, here's the point that really is an issue for me on all things that touch land. We have a planning commission, and they're supposed to give input whenever you deal with plan or land. I wanted to talk about Rhapsody in Blue because I know we have some musicians here, and that's my favorite big symphony. I'm thinking about Leonard Bernstein, how he conducted it and played in front of Carnegie Hall. I think it was in 1975. It was spectacular. If he didn't have the symphony with him, his playing wouldn't have been the same. What's the point? Our Planning Commission and the State Enabling Act is like the Rhapsody in Blue. What do we have in Greenville? A one-person planning commission. It is the county administrator. We need to change the way you folks think about land and think about planning in this county because we are not complying with state law. And whenever you deal with land, you must do it only in accordance with state law. Did you know the county has no inherent right to do zoning or land development regulations at all? Only what the state authorizes may you do. Probably nobody even thinks about that, but I think about it. And so the symphony is the enabling act. It's the state law. The orchestra is your planning commission. And you do need to have an orchestra leader, a conductor. But that's also someone from the planning commission, not from the administrative arm of this county. And that is when I hear you talk about the UDO, which I won't go into too much, I keep hearing you say the word staff when you should be saying planning commission. Those are your professionals, your eyes and ears for citizens. They're the ones that wear the hat to do planning and anything related to land. And so you'll hear about that tonight, I suppose, from all these people on Paris Mountain. The problem with this philo is it touches land. No one has weighed in from Planning Commission. I don't know what this industrial park is. Maybe you don't either. make sure you get good input from the people who are professionals on the planning and land part of the county, your planning commission, before you decide you want it. And this is a small amount of land, that's not the point. The point is, let's get used to using the planning commission. Thank you for letting me say this to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Paz. And just to clarify, and I do appreciate you speaking on that, just to clarify, we have several different agreements with different counties, and this particular one, the reason that you might not have been able to find as much information is this is actually for Anderson County, and we're actually the 1% partner of this particular item. So I don't know if that clears up what you were discussing or not, but I wanted to make sure to clarify. But thank you very much. All right, next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next on the agenda will be ordinances at third reading. Councilor Bradley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Docket number CZ 2024-069, property located at 429 and 437 Harrison Bridge Road, requiring rezoning from PD to PD major change. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny this ordinance at third reading.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We will move to ordinances at second reading. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ordinance number CZ 2025-001, property located at Morrill Road, requesting rezoning from R-MHP to S1. The Planning Commission and the committee recommended approvals. On behalf of the committee, I move to approve of this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of approval of 001, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Move on to 002.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. ZZ 2025-002, property located at 2185 and 2185 A Killer Mill Road, requesting rezoning RS to AG. The Planning Commission and committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move approval of the ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of approval of 002, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move on to 003, Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. CZ-2025-003, property located at 617 Sulphur Springs Road, requesting rezoning from R-MA to C-3. The Planning Commission and committee recommended denial. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of denial of 003, please say aye.
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 All opposed? The ayes have it. And before we go any further, I just realized that after hearing Councilor Mitchell, do we have anyone else on Zoom other than Councilor Mitchell? And Councilor Tripp? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, 004, Councilor Bradley.
CZ-2025-004, property located at 20 Reeves Wesley Court, requiring rezoning from R-R3 to R-R1. The Planning Commission and committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I'll move to approve on the ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of approval of 004, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. 006, Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. CZ-2025-006, property located on New Easley Highway, requesting rezoning from S1 to R-M10. The Planning Commission and the committee recommended denial. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny the ordinance at second reading.
All right, thank you. All in favor of denial of 006, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move on to 008, Councilor Bradley.
CZ-2025-008, property located at 701 Easley Bridge Road, A Street, B Street, Lynch Street, 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue, 5th and 6th Street, and Newbert Street, requesting rezoning from PD and unzoned to PD major change. The Planning Commission and the committee recommend approval with conditions.
Thank you. Would you like to state those?
All right, the amendments, the including following. Staff and the applicant works together to agree on a maximum number of signs for use. Use site plans provided the signage located to determine the number of signs. Under the signage and lighting section 8.5.3.e, reduce the maximum group freestanding signs height from 23 to 16 foot. For interior group freestanding signs and group freestanding signs over on 6th Street. The two group freestanding signs are permitted on East Highway may remain at 23. Under the sign, number 3, under the signage and the lighting section of the SOI, section 8.53-B permits yard signs may be permitted for a period no greater than 6 months. I move to approve the ordinance as amended.
All right, thank you. All in favor of? Right. So all in favor of approval of the amendment to the item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And now, all in favor of the item as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Move on to item B, Greenville-Anderson Multi-County Industrial Park Agreement Amendment. Councilor Collins.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion, move for approval at the second reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 park, of Anderson and Greenville counties so as to enlarge the park to add certain parcels in Anderson County.
So all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. And we will move on now to ordinances at first reading. Councilor Bradley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have two items, docket number CZ 2025-009 and CZ 2025-010.
Councilor Bradley, and we will refer these to the Planning and Development Committee. On to the next agenda item, which is committee reports. And we'll have Committee of the Whole. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 12A1, approval of county rules. On behalf of the committee, I move to approve the Greenville County Council rules. They were discussed and approved in the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Counselor. All in favor of?
Mr. Chairman, if I may we have a bit of dialogue?
Sure.
Just like to let the public know there was a lot of input on these rules from a lot of people. They're not perfect. They are more easily amended now because of one of the rules included in here, the number of votes to amend them and change them. I say that in the fact that I understand that there's a few things that could be amended and fixed. We've worked really hard as a group to get this through, so I'd ask your graciousness in understanding that as we pass these tonight, and I welcome all your input to make them better. If you see something we missed as a group, please bring that up, and Ms. Passon especially, I appreciate your comments. But know that we know it's not perfect, but we are trying to make it better for you, and we still need some of your input, and we can still change them.
Thank you, Counselor McGahee. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to thank Mr. McGahee for that, and that I am voting for this with that understanding that we can tweak them some to some of the suggestions brought by y'all.
Thank you, Dr. Shaw. Anyone else? All right. All in favor of the adoption of council rules, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
No.
Thank you, Councilor Mitchell. Item 2, Greenville County First Steps Board of Directors appointment. Councilor Bradley.
Yes, sir. Greenville County First Step Board of Directors appointment. On behalf of the committee, I move to appoint Jennifer Pinkerman to fill the vacant seat on the Greenville County First Step Partnership Board.
Thank you, Counselor. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
item we have is Administrator's Report.
And members of council, I do have a couple items this evening. One is just to alert you that traffic configuration is going to change this Thursday. You'll still come in on University Ridge, but when you get to basically where you turn to come into county facility, make that turn. If you choose to go straight to Augusta, you'll veer off to the left on the new Clawson connection, which will run up to Augusta, obviously. This will be in place for a number of months now as they start lowering University Ridge by the building on the corner of the building. As you know, it's higher right now, so they'll bring it down to grade, and then that road work will continue. I also want to give you a quick update on the Hurricane Helene cleanup. As of yesterday, our contractor has collected over 1 million cubic yards of debris. That's equivalent to around 469 football fields. This is a major milestone and represents a huge effort on the part of the staff and the contractor. Collections are ongoing and will continue until all debris is collected. They continue to collect from sunup to sundown, 7 days a week, weather permitting. We estimate that we are approximately 85% complete at this point. The contractor has begun to close out roads in areas where the collection is complete. We are working to build an online map viewer to share which roads have been closed out so that people can get online and see if their road has been closed out. And if they still have something, let us know. We understand that there may be some roads where we have not yet done any collections, and we will check each road before deeming it completed. Please remember to direct citizens to use debris@greenvillecounty.org to report locations for debris collection. There's no set end date for collection. However, the goal is to be completed with collections on county roads by the end of March. Now, keep in mind, this is just for county roads. We don't pick up on state roads, don't pick up on city roads. Our contractor is picking up county roads only. The contractor is also collecting tree stumps that are fully detached and placed in the right-of-way. Smaller stumps are collected along with the other tree debris, but larger stumps are being hauled separately because different equipment will have to be used to chop them into smaller pieces. All funds for the debris collection are paid for by the county and will be reimbursed by FEMA. Currently, the county has been approved to receive 100% reimbursement for debris collection. The county has begun the expedited reimbursement process with FEMA, which can be lengthy. South Carolina Emergency Management Division has assured us that our reimbursement requests will receive high priority. The process is well underway, and the county expects to start receiving reimbursements quite soon. That ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Dr. Fant?
I want to ask Mr. Purnell, that's probably about the best administrator you've given in a minute, because I've been getting worn out about supposedly debris cleanup ended January 20th. Is that the state portion?
City.
It's probably the city of Greenville is the only one that I've heard has stopped.
So it's not us? Oh, I got a couple emails
We're
I need
hopeful to be
send out,
done
like,
by
right
March
now.
31st, so it's not us.
Good.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor.
If I may ask the citizens, I get a lot of emails on this, and a lot of times it's after they've contacted the general email box for the county, and they say, I've gotten no action. Well, understand that email gets thousands and thousands of emails, and there's one or two people that answer it. So what I ask you to do is copy your representative up here when you send that email, please. There was a lady that contacted me. I shot it off, and her stuff was picked up the next day. So that's what I'm here for. That's what our other guys are here for. And the staff's been very actionable on every item I've sent them. So I ask you to include us on those emails. Don't just send them to the nebulous. We are a government entity. I admit that. But we as counselors can help push that pile along. So please give us the courtesy of copying us, and we can take action for you. And the staff is, like I said again, has been very actionable on those.
Thank you, Councilor McGahee. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to requests and motions by council members, and I'll start off by saying there's a lot of red shirts, and I don't have horrible eyesight, so I can see what most of them say. First of all, I want to thank everybody for showing up. It's always good to see a room full of citizens in their own house, so thank you. How this works, just to make sure you know, because I know a lot of people don't understand the process, is once we bring a motion forward, in this particular agenda item, it will be sent to a committee. So there'll be no action taken on it tonight, but we'll keep you posted with the process of it as we move forward. So with that, we will go to agenda item A on 14 with Councilor Shaw.
Thank you, Chairman Blunt. If you are here because you're interested in the resolution on Paris Mountain, please stand up. I don't think we can count you this quick. We're going to say 85%? Okay, we'll just roughly say. Yeah. Thank you for doing it. The first item, as noticed, Mr. Chairman, on the council agenda, I would like to introduce a resolution whereby certain Greenville County Council members oppose the annexation by the City of Travelers Rest to build a hotel on Paris Mountain. I request that this resolution be referred to the appropriate committee. The resolution, maybe that's communication, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. Thank you, Dr. Shaw. I will refer this to the Communications and Governmental Affairs Committee.
Thank you. Item number 14B, as noticed on the council agenda, I would like to introduce an ordinance to initiate a text amendment to Section 8.5 ESDPM Environmentally Sensitive District of Paris Mountain of the Greenville County Zoning Ordinance. I request that this ordinance be referred to Planning and Development.
Thank you, Dr. Shaw, and we will refer this to the Planning and Development Committee.
And one other, if you indulge me, one other, basically one sentence. There's been overwhelming opposition to this matter as far as communications I've received. There was one criticism about this resolution about it fueling division, and my response to that is this isn't fueling division. This is a reaction to what can be likened to a hostile takeover of longstanding political boundaries. We're trying to... Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shaw.
Mr. Chairman. For all the animal folks, just to let you know, if you weren't at the Road and Public Works meeting tonight, on February 26th at 6 p.m., right here in this room, we're going to hear comment on the proposed animal ordinance that my colleague, Councilor Shaw, has put forward. So I just want to make that out there and everybody know we'll meet next week, 6 p.m., Wednesday in this chamber. And if we need to schedule more meetings, I have the room reserved for that. But come out and speak. I'll put out the agenda on Friday. It'll be the actual items, how we're going to run the meeting. And if you have any input on that, you can contact me or come and speak. And I'll add you to the other 400 emails I have. So we'll read them all and we'll get you out there. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGahee. And I would like to add, what was I going to say? Just lost it. That's what it did. The red shirts got me. Think of it for next time. Nothing else must not have been that important. So having said that, if there's no other business, I do know what I was going to say. I will say it since I have a chance. Now that we've adopted the rules, something that I'm looking forward to is something that I got to witness when I came on the council and it went away. And we've kind of experienced it a little bit here tonight is at the end of the meetings. I want to open the floor for our council and my colleagues to tell you what's going on in their districts or things that are happening that we haven't had a chance to do in a long time. So I look forward to that being added to our agenda very soon. So.
Can I say something even though
Councilor
you just
Seaman.
said that we could do it?
Absolutely.
Technically not in my district, but near to my heart, Councilor McGahee and I this afternoon had an opportunity to go to the groundbreaking for the new Meals on Wheels facility off of Grove Road, and just it was really a wonderful occasion, and just really thankful to all of you out there who may be Meals on Wheels volunteers, but also just for the citizens for all the ways in which you make the community great by the volunteer work you do, whether it's there or with any other agency you're involved in.
Thank you, Councilor Seaman. And technically, we have adopted the rules. So if anybody else would like to add anything before we adjourn, I'll leave the floor open for a moment. All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you guys very much for coming.